I can't breathe like this, no. Suffocating me slow.
What's good, gang? We're back for another Labyrinth / UFC Breakdown Full Card Prediction Jam with your host, Big Ear, ringing in the new year here. We got an 11 fight banger kicking it off right. You know we jumping right into it. First up, we got Jimmy Flick versus Charles Johnson. Jimmy Flick is making his return to the sport here after a brief retirement. He's a specialist on the ground, high-level grappler who's always looking for that spectacular submission. Now, this is definitely going to be a grappler versus striker matchup because the opponent, Charles Johnson, is just nice on the feet. Good movement, great timing, and slick countering ability. For me, this fight simply comes down to can Flick get Johnson down or not? And I'm going to say no because Charles Johnson has some pretty decent takedown defense. If I'm right on that, Johnson should have no problem tuning up Flick in the stand-up. Pick is Charles Johnson. Southpaw versus Southpaw up next. Nick Aguirre versus Dan Argueta. So it's a matchup of two grapplers right here that was put together on short notice. Both guys are strong wrestlers who can push a high pace. The thing I would say really separates them is the power and strength of Argueta. Dan Argueta has big power in his punches and he has fought the better competition overall. Now when grapplers are on a similar level like this, a lot of times it'll come down to which one has the strength advantage. In this case, that's Argueta, and it doesn't hurt that he'll have an experience edge and better striking too. Probably wouldn't go too heavy on it, but this should be Argueta's fight to lose. Give me Dan Argueta. Good scrap up next. Alan Nascimento versus Carlos Hernandez. Carlos Hernandez is what you might call pesky on the feet. He has good fast footwork, solid boxing technique, and he keeps a great pace. Carlos's best weapons are his striking pressure and volume, which he'll be looking to use to overwhelm his grappler opponent Alan Nascimento here. Nascimento is a seasoned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player who plays chess, not checkers, when it comes to his grappling attack. He's more than happy to give up a front headlock position or even to give up his back to the guy to get them playing the ground game with him. Alan Nascimento's not a great striker, but he does have some nice knees and kicks, and he throws a wide variety of kicks because he wants you to try to take him down anyway. He would be wise to throw plenty of low kicks to slow down the movement of Carlos Hernandez, since Hernandez will be the quicker of the two. Once Nascimento gets his arms around Carlos, he should be able to drag him down to the canvas, no problem, where he'll be able to use that high-level grappling to neutralize and control Hernandez from there. I'll take Alan Nascimento to get the decision in this one. Mateus Rebecki versus Nick Fiora. Both guys making a UFC debut right here, and Rebecki's a little powerhouse. He's a whirlwind on the feet with good vision, crushing power in his hands, and excellent timing to go along with that power wrestling that he also brings to the table. The opponent is Nick Fiora, and honestly, I think Rebecki would have had a much tougher time with his original opponent, Omar Morales. The fact they gave him such a talented guy like Morales in the first place for his debut just goes to show how highly touted Mateus Rebecki is. Now, Nick Fiora, he's not a striker by any means. He's a pure grappler who does have a very nice submission game. Fiora isn't going to be able to fight on the feet with Rebecki, and he can't match the power in the wrestling here either. So, obviously, very tough matchup for Nick Fiora, especially since Rebecki's got solid grappling in his own right. I just don't see anywhere or any way for Fiora to win this one. I got Mateus Rebecki by stoppage. Abdulrazak Alhassan versus Claudio Ribeiro up next. Abdulrazak Alhassan is a switch stance power striker with flat feet. He features a nasty overhand right and heavy hooks. The opponent, Claudio Ribeiro, is a big guy with heavy hands, but he's a guy who I would say is basically just a big guy because he's fairly low level. He has decent footwork. Unfortunately, he just has little to no technique to his strikes, and his cardio falls off a map if he can't get guys out early. Ribeiro does have good takedown defense, but if he does get taken down, he's got nothing off his back. Honestly, I could see either guy getting knocked out in this spot, but all I really know is somebody is definitely getting knocked out in this spot. Neither of these guys have ever won a fight by anything other than KO TKO stoppage. So this is 100% a violent spot, but as for my pick, I'm going with Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. Next up, it's Mateus Mendoza versus Javid Basharat. Real straightforward fight to break down right here. Javid Basharat is a creative striker with good cardio who can snipe from the outside when he wants to, and he can quickly shoot in and wrestle when he needs to. That's going to spell trouble for Mendoza because he's a wild power puncher who doesn't have much technique to his strikes, and he hasn't really shown a great ability to take down anyone anywhere near the level of a Javid Basharat. And Mendoza swings too wide, and Basharat's just a little too sharp for me to really see many opportunities for the upset in this one. Puncher's chance for Mendoza, but that's about it. Give me Javid Basharat. And fight opening up the main card, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Raoni Barcelos. Umar Nurmagomedov, in classic Khabib style, is nasty on the ground, but he is also one of the most well-rounded fighters on the roster. He's light on the feet, and he has effective kickboxing and counterpunching, but of course he's mostly known for his wrestling. Umar's ability to take people down and punish them with ground and pound is truly special. The opponent, Raoni Barcelos, is an amazing striker with near-perfect footwork, phenomenal hand speed, and elite timing. He also happens to be a world-class black belt on the mat, so needless to say, this is an extremely high-level matchup, and I think the line is a little wide here. However, we've seen time and time again that the Nurmagomedov Sambo game plan is the kryptonite to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Superman. Add in the fact that if you keep a pressure and pace on Barcelos, he slows way down, and I just think it equals a bad night for him. I got Umar Nurmagomedov in another mauling victory.
Othos.
Ketlen Vieira versus Raquel Pennington is up next, and the first thing you'll notice about Rocky is that improved boxing of hers, because you can see she's really worked hard on her timing and volume, and she maintains a good solid pace too. Rocky's a dog with a strong clinch game, and she has a ton of experience in the sport. The opponent, Ketlen Vieira, is a big strong girl with pretty decent kickboxing. Ketlen has strong kicks. She also has good counters, nice footwork, and a beautiful straight right hand. This is an evenly matched contest that could go either way, but the deciding factor for me will be that Ketlen does have good throws and takedowns in her arsenal as well that she can go to if she starts getting behind in the stand-up. She'll have the clear grappling advantage here anyway, so she'll be smart to take Rocky down whenever possible. No real confidence in this pick, but give me Ketlen Vieira. Puna Soriano versus Roman Kopylov up. Puna's a heavy-handed southpaw. Guy makes no bones about what he's trying to do. He's not a wrestler. He doesn't want to grapple or point fight. He wants to knock someone's head off with a power punch. The opponent, Roman Kopylov, is a flat-footed kickboxer who gets hit way too much for anyone to consider taking a chance on him here. I'm all over Puna. I think Puna ends him, and I think he does it early. Give me Puna Soriano by knockout. Co-main, Dan Ige versus Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson is a grinder, man. He's always looking to grapple. He's got high pressure wrestling, slick jiu-jitsu, and a fantastic ability to weather a storm and get to your back. Once he takes your back, he does a great job of maintaining that backpack position. riding it out to an easy decision win if you can't find the choke. The opponent, Dan Ige, is a highly skilled and well-rounded veteran. Ige will have a huge striking advantage in this one, as Jackson definitely isn't known for his stand-up. Dan's a dog. He's got solid boxing, good pressure on the feet, and great cardio. Now, the fact that Ige can hold his own in the grappling is a big key in my opinion, because Damon Jackson will not be able to hold his own in the striking with him. Jackson will need to control Dan on the ground if he's going to win here. Now, he could end up doing that. This is a close fight, and Dan has been controlled on the ground before. But looking at Dan Ige's record, you'll notice that every loss he's ever had has been by decision. Dan's back is against the wall, and he knows he can't leave it in the hands of the judges this time. Look for Dan Ige to turn up the heat on Jackson and get the stoppage win. I'll take Dan Ige. Main event, we got Sean Strickland stepping in on 5 days' notice to headline back-to-back events, Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov. The wildcard Sean Strickland is a stand-up striker with crisp boxing that features an excellent use of the jab. He's got good hand speed and combinations, but he can be a little one-dimensional in his attack. He's not a strong wrestler, and he doesn't kick very much. The opponent, Nasruddin Imavov, is a quick kickboxer with very nice footwork. Imavov is a technician on the feet, smooth range attacks, good counterpunching, and his offense to defense is also impressive. The thing about Imavov is, for as good of a striker as he is, he does have some slick grappling as well, which could end up being a good thing for him to fall back on if he needs to right here. He can be susceptible to the leg kick, but Strickland doesn't really throw them enough for me to think it will be much of a factor. Strickland likes to come forward and throw hands, and doing that, he'll be going right into the strength of Imavov. So even though it would be nice to see Sean pick up the win, I just don't see him coming in here on short notice and beating Imavov. Strickland will have a cardio advantage the later this one goes, but I don't see this fight going the full 5 rounds. I'll take Nasruddin Imavov, and I got him inside the distance. And that wraps up this one, guys. If you made it this far, massive shout out to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Check out the big homie 2 Cents doing his thing over at Just My 2 Cents on YouTube. And as always, be sure to subscribe to Mr. Arkansas on YouTube for the craziest live streams, the most entertaining sports content, and the very best MMA prediction competitions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.